2023 is here. With it brings an assortment of new things in the guitar world, and as well as having to say goodbye to some old things. And that includes saying goodbye to the Squier Bullet series. Hello, welcome back to another episode. I hope y'all like that little noodle. I think I'm gonna call that section noodling around or something. I don't know, something goofy, because all I know how to do is noodle on guitar. But anyways, the Squier Bullet. Fender has announced that Squier Bullet will be no more and will be replaced with the Squier Supersonic series or Sonic series. Let me double check on that name. I'm not too sure. We'll get back to that. But anyways, they are phasing out the Squier Bullet series, the ultimate budget entry level guitar that has been around for decades. Everyone has put their hands on a Squier Bullet or owns one or has seen or had a friend that has one laying around. This $50, $100 special is a guitar that is well known across the board for people that couldn't afford guitars, such as, made in Mexico Fenders, other strats, or they're just getting into it. It was the ultimate starter pack guitar for the longest time. And truthfully, it's very iconic. It will always, for better or worse, be iconic. So to see Fender saying farewell to the Squier Bullet line in place of the new entry-level instruments, which are not as entry-level as Squier used to be, but that's another bag of worms that Squier has to deal with, trying to gain their footing back into the entry-level scene. But that's for another video. Today, we are going to be talking about and saying goodbye to our beloved Squier Bullet Stratocasters. Little background on this one. I picked this up during COVID for about $100 from a friend. The intention was to mod it and make a video. And I realized that was super cliche, but when you're on YouTube and you don't know how to make videos, you just kind of start with the cliche stuff first. And I realized that was very expensive, so you start to refine those ideas. And my next idea was mod it on the cheap to try to make it as decent as, say, like a Fender Classic Vibe, which is 3 times as much. Well, now it's like 4 times as much. They're getting expensive. $450 USD for a Squier Classic Vibe. No, not worth it. Save up. Go buy a used Fender, made in Mexico. But the plan was to maybe we can just get enough budget parts to mod this into something as quality as a Classic Vibe. That didn't pan out either. I just don't think it was cost effective. I could just go get a used Classic Vibe, I think, when I was just kind of pricing the parts. So it sat in my closet for a good 6-7 months, almost a year. Didn't touch it. It had old rusty strings, didn't have a setup. And I got bored one day and I thought to myself, okay, let's just pull it out of the closet, get it set up, and I want to see how it plays, because I have nicer instruments. I've had various made in Mexico Fenders. I have an American Professional. I've plethora of just better playing instruments, and I really didn't see why. I was one of those spur of the moments. I had money to spend, and I just didn't at the time. I didn't, why do I have this? And I didn't want to get rid of it either, because I wanted to do something with it. So that brings us to my revelation of why I think there's charm in owning a Squier Bullet still. And that was in the process of setting it up. I took it out, straightened the fretboard, I polished the frets, cleaned it up. I didn't change anything. I took off the pick guard to fix a couple faulty little scratchy pots, You know, some solder, just weak solder joints. Truthfully, after it was set up, all well and done, correct action that I'm comfortable with. It plays plays good. It plays snazzy. It's not my favorite guitar, but I've been playing it quite a bit because it's just one of those things that I just kind of leave laying around the room, and it's just that's where I realized that's when it clicked in my head. This sub $100 used guitar that in a world of increasingly expensive beginner instruments, going out and finding $100 used guitar that you can just kind of set up and just fiddle around with. There's a certain pleasure in that. There's a charm in that. That's when it dawned on me what I was getting out of this Squier Bullet. It no longer became an entry level guitar for learning how to play, but it became an entry level guitar for learning how to set up and find out what you're looking for in an instrument. And I think that's something that's very charming that I think intermediate or hobbyist guitarists like me should go out and find one of these now that they are kind of being phased out. I would wager that you would still be able to find one of these Squier Bullets used for $50, maybe $100, and I think they're slightly above the cut of like a Glary or some sort of cheap knockoff Amazon guitar. And I think they should be used still to not learn to play, quote unquote. Yes, of course, I think they should be still played because they are at the end of the day instruments. And but I think one of the coolest things you could do now, if you're kind of hit that point in guitar playing where you like discussing gear, you like working on guitars, you like doing stuff with guitars besides just playing them, I think now is the time that we put some respect on the Squier Bullet's name as it leaves the stratosphere. Stratosphere. I'll shut up. But I think there's a lesson to be learned for hobbyist guitarists. Go grab one. If you don't know how to refret a guitar, if you don't know how to crown and level a guitar, if you don't know how to set up a guitar, and you're scared to touch it on one of maybe more expensive ones, maybe you take a guitar to shops to get set up. It get up, get, transform this practice instrument into a practice platform. And I don't really recommend modding them. Call me crazy. I do have a couple recommendations if you want to make this a playable workhorse. Um, don't don't bother with the pickups. I'm telling you right, don't switch the pickups. Don't don't the bridge. Don't unless you are very aggressively using the wide bar. I would not recommend even bothering upgrading it. It could stand to use better tuners. The nut is even satisfactory in my opinion. But maybe some new tuners because they're cheap. Maybe a new nut. Maybe change some of the pots. Input jack. I would recommend maybe. But playing this instrument over the past month or so, gosh, I don't know. It's just like I feel like it was worth the $100 that I paid for it. And I don't know if I'm just nostalgic because I mean, like, I have no plans to buy a Squier Supersonic or Squier Sonic, whatever they're calling them. I barely want the high end Squiers. Like, although I do like the paranormal line, I do want to pick up some of the stuff from that line. But that's because I've been playing for so long and I have other expensive instruments that I really enjoy, and expensive instruments on my list. So it's an interesting instrument, and a lot of people see that these old Squiers, they're gonna sit in pawn shops, they're gonna sit in used bins, and you're gonna see them dirt cheap. And it's definitely a nostalgic thing. It's a nostalgic. Having learned guitar growing up, the Squier Bullet was always the entry point for so many of me and my friends. So consider this just a little memorial video for our beloved Squier Bullets. I don't know, I wanted to do a quick video on it. I really like my Squier Bullets. And it's kind of sad to see them go. But I'm hoping Squier continues to improve and becomes that king of the entry level guitars again. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, gone are the days of the $100 Squier, but not really gone. So instead of picking up a new Squier Supersonic, go out, haggle, find yourself a $50 Squier, and use it and abuse it. Great, great to fiddle with. They're good, something great to like really dive deep into and really enjoy. Besides, you know, besides throwing a bunch of upgrades on it, don't do that. Don't do that, and don't just enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's just my 2 cents on saying goodbye to the Squier Bullets as kind of phased out for bigger, better things. So I'm hoping forward to hearing more about those videos, or looking forward to making a video on newer Squiers as they come out if I can get my hands on one. In the meantime, though, I'm gonna stick with this bad boy. Maybe I'll refret it. Maybe I'll slap some crazy pickups into it someday. I don't know. Whatever. Right now, though, it's kind of cool that I ended up being happy with a throwaway instrument that I bought spur of the moment. So, thank you for watching. Just wanted to do a quick little video just because it's been a hot minute since we have done anything. I thought it'd be fun to talk about a Squier Bullet. And this video kind of can be applied to pretty much most entry-level guitars. Everyone has their own favorite little entry-level guitar. You have the Yamaha Pacificas, you got the Squiers, you got the Epiphones, and they got their little quirks. But, if you have one that you still like, or if you're one like personally attached to, tell me about it. Leave in the comments. Let me know what your favorite beginner instrument that you kind of held on to is. Yeah. Don't forget to like, hit the bell icon, and subscribe. It'd be kind of cool if we can keep getting more followers. I really like interacting with all of you. A lot of people that comment on my videos, and it's really fun conversation. I really like having discussions about pedals and guitars and stuff like that. So feel free to leave stuff in the comments. Let's have a discussion. I like talking about this stuff. Or, you can roast me on my horrible video making skills. Either one's fine. Or my guitar playing skills. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you all next video.